Hello and welcome to a special Champions League quarter-final recap on Women's Football Talk, and what fantastic second leg ties we have had this past week. We've had drama right until the very end across all four games, and it was perfectly poised as well. Heading into this week's fixtures, all games were at 1-0, so every team had a fighting chance of getting through to the semi-finals and getting their much important and needed win. So let's start off with the big game of this week, the dramaticness of it, and that was of course on Thursday evening as Chelsea played Lyon. Now heading into the game, obviously Chelsea had that 1-0 lead thanks to Guru Reiten's goal in the first leg, and this game was quite cagey and close throughout the majority of it. Both teams having periods, like 5-10 minute periods, where they looked like they would score goals. In the first half, Senior Brun had a good couple of chances, then Lauren James, Sanker and Melanie Leopolds had chances themselves. Then second half there was chances for Daniela van der Donk of Lyon, so it was definitely a very even poised match. And then on 77 minutes, a cross from Lindsay Horan on the right hand side found Canadian defender Vanessa Gilles, and that put Lyon 1-0 up on the night and made it 1-1 on aggregate. Thereon after, we went all the way to extra time because neither side could find a winning goal in the last 13 minutes. Then in the start of the second period of extra time, because there was no goals in the first bit, Sarah de Brits put Lyon ahead on the night and on aggregate with a goal. Again, a cross coming from the right hand side. Chelsea failed to deal with it, and then De Brits was able to put it past Ann-Katrin Berger. But that's not where the drama ended, because right at the 128th minute, Chelsea get a penalty after Lauren James is brought down by Vicky Baisha. Now again, on replays you can clearly see this contact, but for me the referee hadn't made a clear and obvious mistake, and because she took so long to give the penalty initially after going to the VAR monitor, you can't be classing that as a clear and obvious as a mistake. Obviously when you see it a million times and have it slowed down for you, then you can clearly see there is the contact there, but VAR states it is a clear and obvious mistake, and for me it's not that obvious of a mistake for it to be given. But obviously that's what happened. Mara Mjolnir stepped up, cool as you like, and scored with literally the last kick of the game. So then we go to penalties, and first up is Mara Mjolnir again for Chelsea, scores it. Then Jennifer Marijan scores her. We go for a while, then we get to Wendy Renard. She misses Lyon's third penalty after a fantastic save by Ann-Katrin Berger, and you think, okay, Chelsea have got this tie wrapped up. But then Lauren James has hers saved, and you're thinking, oh no, Lyon are finding a way back in it. However, after Sarah de Brits and Jess Carter both scored their respective penalties, Lindsay Horan had to step up and score a vital penalty. However, she wasn't able to do so, and Chelsea have knocked out last season's holders and 8-time champions Lyon from the Champions League. And what a game it was. The emotions, even as a neutral watching it, you can't help but feel invested in that game, and it was just absolutely fantastic watch. For anyone who's a fan of football, and it's a perfect advertisement for the Women's Champions League and women's football on the whole, because you couldn't ask for anything better. Right, let's have a quick look at the other games from this past week. So the other tie that took place earlier on Thursday between Wolfsburg and PSG, again a much better second leg compared to the first leg. Wolfsburg took an early 1-0 lead on the night. Fili Rack putting a beautiful through ball to find Alex Pop, who had a wonderful shot just from outside the box, put it top right corner, and that looked like the game was done and dusted there for Wolfsburg, obviously winning the first leg 1-0, so they had that 2-0 advantage. However, PSG had a bit of life in them after a cross from Sakina Karchawi found Carriera to Diani, and she headed it past Merle Fromes to give PSG a bit of life. However, things got bad for Gianni as she had to go off at half time, and the club has revealed that she has fractured her right collarbone, so she's going to miss a extended period of time. Now again, as the second half went on, both teams had chances, but Wolfsburg seemed the more confident, and you always thought they were going to be more capable of defending their goal lead on aggregate to go through, and that is what they managed to do. So Wolfsburg joining Chelsea in the semi-finals. Then we look back to Wednesday's games. Arsenal, Bayern Munich at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal much more stronger side in this one. They looked like they were really ready to win it from the minute the game started. Obviously, a bit of early bad injury news. They lost Kim Little for a tackle with Sara Zadrazil. We don't know the extent of the injury. I don't know how if it's going to be one that they need to worry about too long. Obviously, could affect their games this weekend. Then Frida Maanum finished off a lovely move. So high press from Arsenal, win the ball back. Then a ball's played into Blackstenius. She flicks it to Leah Williamson, who obviously had to move into midfield following Kim Little's injury. Then Williamson played it back to Maanum, and then she absolutely beautiful shot, top left-hand corner, past the Bayern Munich goalkeeper, and yeah, from there on, Arsenal pretty much controlled the game. 10 minutes later, Stina Blackstenius gets in the act and continuing her fine form, and yeah, 2-0 on the night and 2-1 on aggregate, just very comfortable for Arsenal. And yeah, disappointing Bayern Munich performance compared to the first leg. They didn't seem to have the same hunger as Arsenal in this one, and I think that's what ultimately cost them. But yeah, Arsenal through to their first semi-final in a decade, and they take on Wolfsburg in the semi-final, who they last faced in a semi-final of the Champions League. And the other tie saw Barcelona beat AS Roma 5-1 on the night, 6-1 on aggregate. Again, comfortable evening for Barcelona at the Spotify Camp Nou. Got off to a perfect start. Fridolina Rolfo scoring after just 11 minutes. Then Chelsea-Lyon scoring a beautiful goal just after the half-hour mark, and then Fridolina Rolfo got her second of the night just before half-time, and then straight after the break, Asia Ashwala scored, and then Patrick Guayaro. So 53 minutes on the clock. Barcelona already 5-0 up. Tie was over. Roma managed to get a consolation goal with Anna Maria Sertorini getting that goal, and yeah, it was there and on. It was just easy for Barcelona, much coasting, but give credit to Roma in their first ever Champions League appearance. Did absolutely brilliantly, and they've got to give themselves really high credit, and we'll be looking forward to see what they can do in the competition next year, because they look certain to be in it as well, as they are currently top of the league in Italy. So that is our Champions League roundup. The Champions League now isn't back until the 22nd of April. So we have Wolfsburg versus Arsenal first, and Chelsea versus Barcelona as your two semi-final legs, and then the reverse legs are played a week later, so the 29th and 30th of April, or 30th and the 31st of April roughly then. So make sure you're following us on social media for all the latest news and stories, and we'll have our usual rundown of the weekend's games out later on today. But in the meantime, we'll see you soon.